Whew. Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Zazoo Plazz here for my weekly Sunday Zazoo Plazz report. Today is December 4th. I almost said 1922. Wouldn't that be something? I'm broadcasting from 100 years ago. 2022. And boy, do I feel fortunate to be here right now. We got a full moon happening this week. What is it, Gemini? There's a plane. So, there's a lot of Sagittarius. Everything's hitting all of my Sagittarius, Venus, Mars, everything's getting hit this week. And then the galactic center is right there at 27 degrees of Sagittarius, which is right on where my natal Venus is in my natal chart. So that means there's going to be a lot of downloads this week. Oh man, second week of Advent. So it's all mixed in today. Boy, is it cold out here. I should have probably worn my heavier gloves, but I was in a hurry to get out the door. And, my husband was sitting there having his leftover buffalo chicken chili that I made 3 nights ago, and watching his 60 Minutes tick 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 show that he. So I'm going to go back and make split pea soup for myself. So when my son isn't home, my oldest son hates the smell of split pea soup. It makes him almost want to, be sick. So I haven't been able to make it when he was home. So, the past couple of years. So now, when he's not home, that's when I make it. And I grew up with that stuff. I'm French-Canadian descent. So I'm still, that's one of the things that I like about my ancestry. I like a good bowl of split pea soup. I like this. When I was a kid, now if any of you are French, French-Canadian, you might relate to this. Sometimes if my mom couldn't make it, she'd get the kind that came, it was called habitant. My grandmother would get it. It was in this yellow can, and it had like primitive pictures of, French Canadians out there like chopping down trees in the wilderness, or hunting for fur or some whatever. They worked hard, and they're out there in the freezing cold. Didn't bother them. They were used to it. See, this is where I Zazoo came from. I came from very hardy people. They're up there, in the wilderness. They came over from France in the 1600s, my ancestors. One of them was this guy named Louis Hebert. There's a statue of him up there. And my aunt was a genealogist, and back in the 70s, she did all this research. Back then, you had to call churches and stuff. She worked at an actual genealogy office. And they didn't have computers, really. None of this stuff was on the computer. You had to, look through big old dusty books, and you had to call, long distance back then. You had to actually make a long distance call, or call people up in Canada and or go up there, or, send away for information. And they had these genealogy books. And back then, the records were kept, with your parish church, because everybody was in church. That's how all the births, the deaths, everything went through the parish, and the parish priest was the one with all the power, because they were sort of like, they had the power. The mayor of the village sort of was the priest, and everybody would go and so anyway, from what I understand, my people were pretty tough. They came over, from France, where they had it pretty good, pretty safe, and they crossed the ocean, and Champlain was involved. I think. And they settled up there in Quebec. And I come from very hardy people. I write about this in my Zazoo Plazz book, and there's so many stories. But I know I only have half an hour, so I'm gonna keep it short. The reason I'm talking about genealogy today is, as always, I refer to the readings sort of like a little jump start. It's kind of like, when your car battery runs out, you gotta get a little jolt there, because I'm this Energizer bunny, and I usually don't run out of energy. No, I go and go and go and go and go. I'm like Tigger. And right now I'm sort of living with Eeyore, but anyway. So never mind. Anyway. And Piglet, and I don't know. Piglet. Anyway. So, where was I? Oh, yeah. So, I use the Bible readings. I'm also into astrology. I'm into a lot of things. I draw from a lot of sources. I have little inspirational books, and I see that whatever I reach for in the morning, it kind of ties throughout the day. I have an astrology app. I draw from there a little bit. I draw from here, and it all kind of fits together. You'll find, if you're new to the Zazoo Plazz universe, that I'm not long on details. I'm short on details, long on abstract sort of, the lightning strike and the make what you will of it kind of, thing. So anyway, I took a picture on the way out here. I'm making my tea this morning, and so this is all going to tie together. And I see out of the corner of my eye, there's this something, because all the leaves are down, so I can look straight out. There was like this thing in the middle of the woods, and I got closer. And I said, oh, it's like a sawed-off, tree, just like a raw stump. And there's some over there that they still haven't gotten rid of. And last night I was walking through the parking lot here at the school, and out of the corner of my eye I see this yellow, it's like a yellow scene, but it looked like Jesus' manger, and with the three kings, and I'm like, one of these. I'm like, now I'm hallucinating. Great. And I get closer, and it still looked like that. It looked like, angels and divine light pouring out. And then I get closer, and I'm like, oh man, it's just a tractor. It's just, it's a yellow tractor for the snow. Oh man, where's my pen? Shit. Oh. I gotta bleep that out. It's gonna be some week. Anyway. What? Okay. Anyway. I don't like to say bad words. So it's not judging by appearances. So sometimes we could see something, and we can just make judgments about it. Oh, it's this, or it's that, or oh my God, it's wonderful. It's that. This is it's a gold box, or it's the Christmas display. Wow, like in the Polar Express, where the kid, they're going down Main Street, and he sees, it's like, oh, it's Santa Claus, and the kid's like, the writer kid, yeah, no, and he sees the things in the back, and he sees that it's fake. He's like, thanks. I'm a little jaded like that kid. I'm like, okay, show me something new. I just want to see something new that isn't fake. So that's how I kind of go through life. Since I was a kid, I'm like, not impressed. You go see that spectacle and that spectacle. You know what impresses me is tractors that look like nativity scenes. That's stuff that people don't see that I see. And people get annoyed with me sometimes, people, and I'm not a joiner, but sometimes I'll be talking with a bunch of people, and somebody will say, "Well, how do you believe in that astrology? You and your stars, you and your stars." They'll sneer. There's a sneer involved. You and your stars. Yeah? I'm not going to sit here and defend astrology. If you don't like astrology, you don't have to do astrology. But don't attack me, because I like astrology, and I find it useful, and I find it fascinating. I mean, look at the moon. Beautiful. I figure, if somebody is, attacking me because, my mom is an astrologer and I love astrology. Someone is attacking me, quite often it's because they don't understand something. This knowledge and understanding, lack of that can lead to some aggression. This can lead people to get really grumpy and get in your face and because they don't know what you know. They don't have what you have. So they're going to tear you down, right? So, all right. So, and this is the John the Baptist week, and every time I would there's a picture of me wearing a camel hair jacket in my Zazoo book. Because when I was, in high school, that's probably when that was taken, around 81, 82, I had a camel hair jacket and I would wear around the holidays. My grandmother, my granny, camel hair with like a nice red blouse underneath. I think it was a whole suit. And I was like, well, what's wrong with camel hair? This isn't the kind of camel hair that John the Baptist was, and I love honey, but I'm trying to get a picture of him out there like Survivor, crunching on grasshoppers. Oh, he's eating honey. I like honey. But, his camel hair and my camel hair were two totally different things. I don't think you can buy his kind of camel hair at like TJ Maxx or anything. So, anyway. And the winnowing fan and the chaff. What's up with that? Chaff, winnowing fan. I don't know. Is that like a leaf blower? Is it? I don't know. I get the feeling of like, pulling the old dead carrots and parsley out of my garden and like throwing them in the back. Wiping the slate clean, because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm taking in my life. And in general, I get to points in life where I have to just clean the slate. You have like a whiteboard and you just want to clean it and get all the old marks out of there. So you go on YouTube, how do I take out, marks from my whiteboard, and they show you how to put stuff on there and take it off. And then it's like, that kind of feeling. It's like, you want to just get rid of everything that doesn't work so you can start again. And it's kind of like every year you take out the big box of Christmas ornaments, and there's always a couple that break, and so every year I usually have more energy before Christmas than after, and I go through, and some years you're like buying all new ones, right? And some years it seems like you're getting rid of everything, just breaks and falls apart in your hands. That's what this year is for me. Everything I touch seems to just crumble into dust in my hands. And I'm like, that's not a good sign. And the same goes for relationships, right? Sometimes you go through life and you seem to be meeting a lot of new people, and let's get together, and I got a brand new tree, and I got brand new ornaments to put on my brand new tree, right? And then some years it's like, the cat knocks it down. Like, you've got the one with the crack in it that the cat knocked down 3 years ago, and the one of your there's an ornament that your aunt made. My aunt used to make these, my Aunt Bunny, brilliant. She used to make these, oh, here it comes. My husband knows. Hi, if you're watching, you know what story's coming. These are the best. The oldies but goodies. She used to make, every year, she'd pour herself a little brandy and make a batch of Christmas ornaments, right? She'd cook them. They would be cookie dough, but she'd cut them with, cookie cutters. Like she'd make little angels and little reindeer and, whatever for that year. She'd make gingerbread people. And she used to then, she'd paint them and shellac them and write people's names in the family on them, and put glitter and stuff. So, when we first got married, she did one for my husband. She put, because his name's Gary, so she put Gary on there. And, but the problem was, I don't know if I should tell the story. I'm going to get canceled. She had some for like my grandparents who passed away, little angels for my bird that died when I was 5. And then, but the Gary one, she kind of overcooked it a little. Anyway, she gave it to him and his skin, his skin is the same color as mine. But good old Gary. His ornament was about 10 shades darker than most of the other ornaments, skin-colored ornaments on our tree. So there was that. But, that's neither here nor there. But he had a football. I don't know. He was cute. Anyway, but they didn't all turn. I guess the dark Gary. I guess the point I'm making is they were imperfect, but that's what was perfect about them. They were, they were all different shapes and sizes, and they, but the beauty was that they were unique. There was never another, Pepe or Nene or Tweety or anybody. Everybody was unique on the tree. And this is a good lead-in. Wow, I didn't even plan it this way. So I'm talking about the family tree now. So this is great. So in the readings today, they talk about the Jesse tree. And I never knew about this. This is really funny. So speaking of the Christmas tree, I guess in the Middle Ages, they used to decorate, do little stained glass ornaments. Before a lot of people couldn't read in the Middle Ages. So they wanted to spread the word of the gospel, of the Bible. They wanted to teach, people the Bible stories and how Jesus's ancestry all the way up to, the New Testament. So they would make little stained glass ornaments. And that's how they call it, they came to be called the Jesse tree. So the reading that Jesus come from the stump of Jesse, talking about wisdom, understanding, counsel, strength, right? All these virtues. So I guess this led to the development of the Advent calendar as we know it. My kids used to love Advent calendars. I'd go to like Christmas tree shop, and even my mom would get them. They had the little chocolate, you'd open the door. I had those when I was a kid too, and he would build the anticipation for Christmas. Every day you take one chocolate. So when the kids were little, they each had one, and then they had a Lego one, which was cool. So every day they'd, open the little door, and they'd get another minifig to build, and put it in the Lego Advent calendar. The little Lego village, we had like a little Christmas village for them when they were growing up. It was cute. So anyway, and then I was thinking, so there were stained glass ornaments. Like you go to church and you see stained glass. people used to make those years ago. You know, those little ornaments. You would put like the, you know, the little particles, the little dust or whatever, and the thing, and you cook it, and it would come out, you know, nice, and you could give it to somebody. So I'm thinking, Jessie, like Jessie Tree, Jessie's Girl, right? Rick Springfield. Oh my gosh, it's been 41 years since that song came out. All right, and this is it all fits together. The Jessie Tree. So Jessie made me think of Jessie's Girl, which when I was in high school, okay, that was my sophomore year. It came out the summer of my sophomore year, 1981. Is it sophomore year soon? Yeah. So it was that album, Working Class Dog, with his dog whose name was Ronnie, which is funny. The dog with the skinny tie, you know, and that's what guys used to wear. Like, not at school because I went to a Catholic, you know, the skinny tie look. But everybody knew somebody in the early to mid '80s who used to wear those, you know, pointy shoes the guys had with like the real skinny ties with like, you know, a white shirt or something. That was the style. You know, some of the guys used to wear like, you know, that hair, that Rick Springfield look. He was on General Hospital. I used to run home from high school so I could watch, well, when I didn't have a million activities that I was in, my mom and I used to watch him on General Hospital. All the girls just loved him. He was Dr. Noah Drake. He was an actor before he was, you know, he could play the guitar, so that's why they had him on there. But I'm like, oh my God. Then there was Love Is All Right Tonight. That was another good song. So I think maybe that's the song I'll choose for Love Is All Right Tonight, because, you know, Venus, right? Venus is Sagittarius, you know, love is all right. Venus and Sagittarius is like, yeah, you know, partying, going, yeah, like Jessie's great. So the story behind the song, though, this is what it made all sense to me. Like, so he said, this is how he got inspired to write Jessie's Girl. He knew this guy named Gary. Have my husband's name. So they were in a class where they were making stained glass. No lies, stained glass windows and ornaments. And there's a plane. And he sees, so this guy Gary, whose name he later changed to Jessie because he saw Jessie on the back of a softball jersey and he thought, oh, that's better. But see how these things kind of just happen? So this guy Gary was dating this girl, right? Started dating this girl, and he didn't even know her name, like, or anything about her. He was just seeing her from a distance going, wow, you know, who do you have to be to date a girl like that? You know, he's feeling inadequate. He's, you know, he's kind of shy, kind of awkward. That's happened to us, right? We know somebody and they start, you know, just going out with somebody, and I don't know, in high school especially, when you're not really sure, you know, of yourself, and you're just sort of, you know, looking at appearances, right? Maybe if he had known that girl, he would have found he had nothing in common with her or whatever. And she and Gary probably, you know, broke up after, and they never saw her again. But I mean, who knows? But you know, the muse comes in very strange disguises sometimes. Maybe that girl didn't even exist. Some people, it said on the Wicca dictionary that even the researchers at the Oprah show couldn't find this girl. If she ever existed, she could have been an angel, an apparition. Just, you know, the muse is the person who shows up in your life when, you know, you need inspiration, but you don't know it at the time. But then later you look back and you go, oh, yeah. You know, that's what, he sees the jersey. That's, oh, okay, Jessie, you know. That's what happened to me when I wrote my Zazoo Plazz book. Certain things just jumped into my head. I don't know. Yeah. And then, you know, then I had people saying to me, well, you take that out and put this over here. But, see, and I've since learned that I can't listen to people out there, because when it comes from within, then I know it's for real, right? So, you can take your cues from gurus, from apparitions, from muses, whatever. But ultimately, it's what you do with it. It's your inner, it's called, now, Rick Springfield, power pop. They call it power pop. It's your inner power popcorn machine that makes it into, it's my inner popcorn machine that makes it into Zazoo Plazz, right? I'm shaking the light. So, I think that's kind of, there's always a sense of mystery in life. And that's what I like to capture. It's that sense of, that's what gets me up in the morning. Where am I going to find inspiration today? Jesse's girl or whatever. And then somebody did a social media, like a meme or something. And is that the police? They're coming to look for me. They heard me swear. What was I going to say? Oh, they did Jesse's grill. So a guy was looking at his neighbor. He had a fancy, grill. He's like, oh, I wish that I could have Jesse's grill. Anyway, that was a little corny, cheesy joke. But yeah, it's always easy to look at what somebody else has, or what you don't have, right? The Joneses, even online, so-and-so has a really funny, comedy site, TikTok, or whatever. And don't look at, I look at those, I appreciate them, I put feedback on there, but it's never as satisfying as creating, your own stuff. And over the years, I've had to, filter what I listen to, because I don't need it. I have plenty of ideas, but at the beginning, see, I did listen to other people, because, sometimes you need a teacher, you need somebody to, sort of, slap you, so to speak, wake you up. Somebody's got to be first, and get you going. And once you're going, you're good, And then if you keep looking back behind you, then for somebody, at that point, you're the leader, and you got to lift other people up, right? Then it's your turn. So there's Rick Springfield. He's still going strong. He looks amazing. 41 years. I've got my 40th high school reunion next year. I don't know if I'm going. I don't know. We'll see. I decide the week before. That's another thing I discovered about myself. I'm really not good at advanced, at planning ahead. I really kind of need to, the more I plan for something and research it and I guarantee the worse it'll be, because I feel like I have to, I'm not one of those people who has to read from a list. This is totally unscripted, folks. Obviously, sometimes. Anyway, I try to keep it clean, so, especially if any kiddos are watching. But anyway, so I'm going to go make my split pea soup. This time I actually make it with ham, homemade. It turns out green. It's not yellow at all, because sometimes the yellow stuff, not appetizing. I mean, it's good soup, but I prefer the green, especially at this time of year. So anyway, till next week, Zazoo Plazz. Getting a little chilly out here. I'm going to go in and warm up. Till next week, take care, and you get into the spirit of love. Whatever. Take care. See you next week.